Do you love to travel and save money? Or do you wish you could travel but money is holding you back? You're in the right place. Welcome to the Families Fly Free podcast, where I show you how to fly your family free forever using my simple fly free formula. I'm your host, Lynn Mettler. My family of four has mastered the art of flying free as simply as possible since 2015, and I want to show your family how to do it too. Hello, everyone, and Happy New Year. I hope everyone had a great New Year's Eve, New Year's Day, holiday celebration. I know that for me, I feel like I've already been in 2023 for the last month. I've been working really hard to plan ahead and get myself all set for this year. So I kind of feel like I've already stepped into it. But as we all head into this new year, I always like to look back at the past year, not in regret or things I should have done, but take a look at what happened last year and how would I like things to look differently this year? And what are some small changes that I can make to accomplish that? So when it comes to travel, I encourage you to ask yourself, did you travel where you wanted to in 2022? And were you happy with the cost of your travels in 2022? Did you feel comfortable with the amount you spent? Do you wish you had been able to spend less? Do you wish you had been able to travel more? I can tell you that my family had an amazing year of travel in 2022, and you can check it out on Instagram at Families Fly Free. I shared a reel with some videos and pictures of some of our travels from 2022. Now, I just sat down and did all of the calculations of how many points that we spent, how many flights we took, and what it was all worth. And I'm pretty amazed at how much we saved last year. So we took 20 free round trip flights. So we took 6 different trips, and then a couple of them, just my husband and I traveled. So that's where the number 20 comes from. On the rest of them, all 4 of us went. And based on the number of points that we paid to fly free, and we only flew domestically last year on Southwest, we saved $14,000. So what that means is for the flights that we took and the points that we paid, what we would have paid in cash for those flights would have been $14,000. Now, would I have paid $14,000 for flights in 2022? Totally not, if I had had to pay for that out of pocket. But because we were able to redeem points and we were able to bring my husband as my companion for free, that is how much we saved by booking everything in frequent flyer miles. And I had a couple of instances. So like last year, we went to Miami, we went to Kauai in Hawaii, we went to New York City, we went to Colorado, we went to Santa Barbara, and then we went to Disney World in Orlando over Thanksgiving. Now, on a couple of those trips, I was able to work the amount of points that we paid on Southwest down significantly, playing some of the insider tricks and hacks you hear me talk about that we share inside of the Families Fly Free membership. So on our Kauai flight last year, I was able to save 300,000 points. And what that means is I was able to get our flights to prime days and times that would have cost a boatload more points, but I was able to work it so I didn't have to pay that full number of points. So we basically paid, saved 300,000 points of what we should have paid in points to fly to Kauai. And the same thing for Orlando. I pulled a nifty little trick all above board for our Thanksgiving flights and was able to save us 100,000 points to fly prime days, nonstop flights, prime times over Thanksgiving to Orlando. So that's a pretty staggering savings when you calculate it that way of what we actually would have paid out of pocket, $14,000. So if you didn't travel as much as you wanted to in 2022, like we did, or if you actually had to pay that amount out of pocket, or you paid more points than you thought you should have, it is time to make a change. If you want different results in 2023, you're going to have to do something different than you did in 2022. And I would like to see you come and join us inside of Families Fly Free this year and let us show you how to do what I just did last year. And I'm not the only one doing that. We've got hundreds of members doing this also, saving thousands and thousands of dollars. So let us show you this easy way to fly free to all the places that you want to go. Again, we really focus on the US, the Caribbean, and Europe. And so you can do it just like my family and the hundreds of other families who are doing it as well. So let's talk about what you can do to start planning your travels for 2023. So I've got 5 things that we're going to talk about today. The first one is you need to figure out where you want to go, right? That's where it all has to start. And I encourage you to think about some travel goals for your family. My family's goal has always just been, it was initially to really travel around the US and see places that we'd never seen, which was a lot. And then from there, we wanted to take everyone over to Europe. So we now have accomplished a good bit of that, traveling 6 times a year, most years since 2015. And so we have a few places left in the US that have been on our list that we haven't gotten to, but we really want to start to focus, I think, now that things have opened up, on seeing all the places in Europe that we would really like to see. We've been multiple places, but there's a whole lot more over there that we would like to explore. So talk about with your family about what your goals are. Maybe you want to fly around the world. Maybe you want to hit all the national parks in the US. Maybe you want to go see some baseball stadiums around the country. Maybe you want to take that trip to Disney World that you've dreamed of for years, or you want to get everyone to Hawaii. That's a dream for so many people. But sit around the dinner table, start a family discussion. This is a great family activity. Let everybody weigh in on, if money were not a concern, where would they want to go? And if you decide that you want to join Families Fly Free and you feel confident that you're going to be able to travel as much as you want, try to work in one place that everyone in your family wants to go. So maybe, one of the kids wants to go to Disney, and maybe, mom wants to head to the beach, and maybe dad wants to go hike in the national parks. Or, I've had families before, like we had kids who wanted to go to Detroit because they love cars and they wanted to go see certain car museums. Or maybe you want to come and see the Indianapolis 500 this year. Or you want to go to Comic-Con in San Diego. There's so many different reasons to travel. So pick some fun ones and really brainstorm and make a list. And I know, again, I recently just sat down over the holidays and made a list of where I want to go before I die, because I want to make sure that I get to do all of these things. And, as you approach midlife, you start to realize like, if I'm going to get these things done, I better make a plan for it, and I better start working on it. So that's something that you can do too, is just make a bucket list of every place that you want to see before your life is up, and start knocking that off, checking things off the list. Okay, so that's the first one. Decide where you want to go in 2023. You want to narrow it down to, if you got a bucket list, narrow it down to what are some things that you feel would be realistic in 2023. And you might make a big one, like pick a Hawaii or a Disney or something for this year, and then pick some smaller ones too. Like maybe you just want to head to Denver and hike Rocky Mountain National Park, or maybe you want to go and hang out in San Diego, for a week and do some theme parks and some beaches and lots of different things there. Maybe you just want to go check out a big city. So put New York City or San Francisco or Chicago or something on your list. All right. Number 2 is get organized. So particularly if you plan to use travel rewards this year, if you plan to collect and use frequent flyer miles, hotel loyalty points, get organized. Just take a minute to do it right now at the front end. You will thank yourself later. I always like to look at this as I'm helping my future self. I'm helping future Lynn, so she doesn't have to be a disorganized, stressed out mess in the future as we're planning, that doesn't know what cards we have or when we open them or how many points we have or what the different account numbers are for our different loyalty accounts. Get things in place. And so for your credit cards, if you have travel cards that you're using, we recommend a free system like Travel Freely, and you can sign up for their program at familiesflyfree.com/travel freely, all one word. Freely, and I'll put that in the show notes. They're a good system that's totally free where you can enter all of your cards that you have and any information you have about them. You can pull your free credit report at annualcreditreport.com and make a note of when you opened those cards, if you have any authorized users on those cards, what the annual fee is. And so they will notify you like when your annual fees are coming due again, so you can decide if you want to keep that card or not. They'll let you know if you're in this Chase 524 status. You can go back and listen to my podcast all about that, or when you're out of it, if you end up with too many cards. So that's a good way to track credit cards. But we also recommend that you have a kind of a manual spreadsheet process too, because it really helps to go through this periodically and have it all be top of mind. So inside Families Fly Free, we have what we call our Get Organized Toolkit spreadsheets. And we have many different spreadsheets for many different things that you might need to track, travel-wise or travel rewards-wise. So we definitely have one where you can list all of your loyalty accounts, passwords, the numbers, all of that stuff. So it has easy access if you need to log into something. We have one where you can keep track of your credit cards for sure. A big thing to keep track of if you're flying Southwest free is what you paid for each Southwest flight in points, because once you add your companion, it becomes a little more difficult to figure out what you originally paid, so that if the price goes down later, if the points price drops from what you originally paid, you're going to want to know that. So you need to compare what you paid initially to what the price is now, so that you can rebook and get those points back. So that becomes an important thing to keep track of. And particularly if you're playing some of the hacks and tricks that we teach, you're going to want to keep an eye on those things very closely. We also have a minimum spend calculator, so that you don't accidentally go over a minimum spend before you intended. And so you keep track of each charge. And then know when you're going to hit that minimum spend. We even have things like a spreadsheet where you can compare car rental prices through different programs and direct with car rental companies to find the best price. So lots and lots of different ways to get organized inside of Families Fly Free as well. So we definitely recommend just take a minute at the beginning of the year, set yourself up, help your future self, get yourself organized going forward. Okay, the number 3 thing I recommend is to strategically choose a card that you're going to put your everyday spending on. So we really do recommend that if you're going to be flying free, staying free, that you do focus on 1 or 2 at most cards to put your day-to-day spending on. These are bills that you're paying anyway, nothing that you're buying just to earn points. These are your utility bills. They are groceries. It is gas. It is tuition, if you're able to put that on a card. And just as a side note, a question I get a lot is, if I'm being charged a credit card fee to make a purchase, so like my son's at college and I can pay his tuition with a credit card, but they charge me a 2.5% fee to do that. So how do you figure out if it's worth paying that 2.5% fee to get the points that you would earn by paying that tuition? And so we just put together a video that's now available inside of Families Fly Free for our members to help them understand how to calculate that very easily and know if that's a good deal or not. So we're going to see that coming up as we approach taxes. It's hard to believe we're going to start talking about taxes, but there are ways you can pay your taxes online with a credit card and they charge a fee. And so how to figure out if that makes sense to do that for the number of points that you would get to use a card. So anyway, when it comes to picking an everyday spending card, you want, first of all, I recommend you do not use an airline credit card. And 90% of people who come to me are putting their everyday spend on a Delta card, on a United card, on an American card, on a Southwest card. These are not good cards for your everyday spend because, number one, you're only using miles or points in that particular currency. If you're spending on a Delta card, you're only earning Sky Miles that you can use to book Delta. If you're spending on a Southwest card, you're only earning Rapid Rewards points that you can use to book on Southwest. They are not flexible. The second reason is generally these cards do not earn more points per dollar in categories of spending that you're likely going to be spending on if you're traveling a lot. So particularly if you're spending on travel or dining. So those are areas that you'll be spending more on if you're flying free 6 times a year, because you're going to have to eat out and you're going to have to incur some travel expenses. So you want to pick a card that earns the most points per dollar, or earns more points per dollar in those two categories. And typically airline cards do not. They earn more if you're buying something directly with them. So I might earn 4 points per dollar on a Southwest purchase or a Delta purchase on a Delta card. But you shouldn't be spending much with the airlines if you're flying free. If you're using miles or points to book, you shouldn't be having to charge airfare to the card. You would only be charging maybe like ancillary expenses, which are just going to it's not even going to be worth getting 4 points per dollar on a, if you're, checking a bag or something on Delta and it's $30 times 4, you earned 120 miles. Whoop-de-doo, right? So there's really no reason to use these cards. They don't earn flexible points and they don't earn more points per dollar in most categories of spending. So we much prefer that you pick a flexible card, something that earns flexible points that can be used with airlines, with hotels for different purposes, and that will earn more points per dollar, particularly on dining and travel, but also consider the categories of spending that you spend the most on. So if you run a farm and you buy a lot of fuel, pick a card that earns the most you can get on gas. If you have a big family and you spend a lot on groceries, then pick a card that earns the most on groceries, etc. So that's something you want to consider when picking a flexible spending card. But this can include cards like Chase Sapphire Preferred, which is one of my favorites, Capital One Venture X or Venture Rewards, also one of my favorites. The Amex cards, they earn flexible points, and Citi cards also earn flexible points. Those last two are not my favorites, but some of you may already have a bunch of points in those programs, and that might be your preferred program to use. So consider the categories of spending, consider if it's a flexible card, consider what your favorite airline and hotel chains are, and does that card play well with those? Can you transfer that system's points over to your favorite airline and your favorite hotel chain? And lastly, I encourage you to pick a business card as well, particularly if you have any kind of a small business, because you can be earning points on your business expenses also. And so you want to, same mindset, choose a flexible card that's going to earn you flexible points that you can use in different purposes and use that card to help fund your personal leisure travel. All right, number 4, and I can't recommend this one enough, is to get travel insurance. So we just saw the big issues with Southwest over the holidays, where they had to have so many flight delays and so many cancellations across the board. And while this was a particularly bad incident, and for everyone who got stuck in it, I'm so sorry. I know that that is miserable when you're going through it. What we really encourage you to do now is to plan ahead and get a strategy in place for things like this to happen. This has just continued to happen over the last year, at least, if not longer, since the pandemic started, with almost every single airline. Again, this was a particularly bad one, but they have all suffered from massive delays and cancellations at some point. So it is just a risk that you are incurring if you're going to travel right now until they get some of these hiring and technology and systems and everything fixed, which I don't expect to happen tomorrow. So I have an annual travel insurance policy. You can go back and listen to my podcast on why we opted to get that. We are now in our 2nd year of that policy. But my policy allows me to, if Southwest cannot get me where I want to go that day, it will allow me to book another airline to get where I'm going and be reimbursed for that. And so for me, that's my mitigation of the risk of potentially Southwest having a delay or a cancellation. I know I can still get to where I want to go. And if for whatever reason I just can't get there, I'm still going to be covered on any costs that I am out as a result of that. Accommodations that I had to prepay for, park tickets that I had to prepay for, events, tours, etc., that I had to prepay for. I'm going to be reimbursed through my travel insurance policy for that. So I just can't say it enough. Get travel insurance, get travel insurance, get travel insurance if you want to travel a lot this year. It will give you peace of mind, and you want to make sure you always have a plan B when you are traveling these days. And so travel insurance is part of that. And for us, it's knowing what airline I'm going to book if I can't take my Southwest flight. And what do we do if we're at our destination and we can't get back? Maybe even having backup hotel reservations that could be canceled, backup car rental reservations that can be canceled. Because I'm not going to stop traveling because of this. I want to keep traveling. And I'm sure you do too. So this is how we do our best to mitigate that risk. All right. The last thing I want to talk about, if you really want to up your game when it comes to travel and you want things to be simpler and way less expensive, join Families Fly Free. This is the best thing you can do for your travel experience if your travel goals and your family's travel goals are similar to my family's, which are to fly as many places as you can around the US, the Caribbean, and Europe, and bring the whole family with you for free. If that lines up with what you want to do, come join us. Let us show you how easy this can be. If you have any concerns, go listen to the different member interviews I've done on the podcast, on our YouTube channel at Families Fly Free. Listen to what other members have had to say. I've interviewed countless people so that I can demonstrate to you that I'm not an anomaly. I'm not a unicorn. This works for all types of families and people. Let us show you how you can really up the ante on your family's ability to travel. Make this the year that you travel more than you ever imagined you could. Maybe you're going to save $14,000 on flights like my family did. And you're going to make those memories. Do it now before your kiddos are out of the house. Do it now while you can, while it's top of mind. Just make this a primary to-do for your family this year. Jump in, see what you can get accomplished, see if it works for you. Make a list of everywhere you want to go, and let's get you there. So keep in mind too, with Families Fly Free, not only are we going to give you how to do this, but this is not just a course that you log into and you take and you learn, right? There's that part of it, but this is really hands-on and personal with me and my team. We give you personal help all along the way. We give you a personalized plan for your family and your travel goals and your experience that tells you what steps you need to take in order to be able to fly free going forward. And then we answer any questions that you have. So you're not like left out there by yourself trying to implement this. Any travel question you have, whether it relates to how do I work Genie Plus at Disney World, to what's the best luau in Hawaii, to what's a great hotel to book in San Diego, to how do I book this Southwest flight, to I am stuck in a delay or a cancellation, help, what do I do? We helped all of our members through that. And help them with what they needed to ask for in terms of reimbursement, et cetera. So you're never going to be left alone. You're going to get an answer that you can trust and that's going to be quick, which I think is super important in all of this. You're not left to your own devices once you learn how to do that. And truly, if you ask us your questions and if you follow our recommendations, you are not going to make a mistake and you are going to be successful. If you follow our recommendations and you are not able to be successful and at least save double your investment in the membership, then you are eligible to get your money back. We are not going to take your money if you tried to do what we said and it didn't work for you. But you do have to do what we recommend or it can't work. That's right. So keep that in mind. So come in, ask your questions, follow our recommendations, and you're going to be blown away at what your family is able to do in 2023. So those are my 5 tips for you to plan your family's travels this year. I hope you have some amazing places that you want to go. We like to pick a mix of places. We're still trying to sort it out. We definitely have Turks and Caicos booked for February. That will be our kind of warm weather annual beach vacation. We like to throw in beach vacation, a big city, a Disney trip, Europe. So we definitely have our eyes on Europe this year. So we will keep you posted as we further our plans this year. And have a great week, everyone, and we will see you on the next episode. If you're ready to fly your family free forever, I invite you to join my Families Fly Free membership. You'll learn how to stop paying for airfare throughout the US, Caribbean, and Europe so you can make those priceless family travel memories before your kids or even your grandkids leave home for good. And you'll learn it using my simple, proven formula that's helped hundreds of families. Plus, it's risk-free. You either get your investment in the membership back in free travel, or I give you your money back. You can get more information at familiesflyfree.com/join.